Stocky, another interesting match at Ashton Gate on the weekend. A roller coaster for the fans. What was your verdict?
Very disappointing result, but I think there was a lot of things said in the heat of the moment immediately after the game by journalists as well as players, management and mostly supporters. And I think it is easy to be overly critical. I think if people take their time, look at the rerun of a match again, they'll actually see that it was not a bad performance from Bristol City. It was much improved on the previous week at West Brom. But you just simply, no manager can legislate for individual errors of a type which cost a team on Saturday. And all 3 goals were from errors, just basic mistakes.
And it must be forgotten that they did fight back to get an equaliser.
Yeah, I thought City absolutely terrorised Sheffield United in their second half. They started the game very well, very brightly. Gary Johnson said he wanted a response after the debacle at West Brom. He got a response. They started brightly, just couldn't score a goal. Had they gone 1-up, we might have seen a very different game. Then you're done by 2 silly mistakes at the back. You find yourselves 2-0 down, and you've got it all to do. Fortunately, they got an early goal in the second half. Lewis Carey heading in from Paul Hardy's excellent free kick. And it was all hands to the pump in the Sheffield defence. They were basically all over the place. And how City didn't equalise earlier, and only the lads who missed the chances will know. They had 7 or 8 really good, presentable goal-scoring chances and didn't take them. That said, you then get the goal back in the last minute, or 5th minute of injury time as it was. Saborio showed a nice turn and good strike to get the goal. You think that's it, that's the point which is probably the least that they deserve, and it's safe in the bag. And you just can't legislate for what happened after that. They basically switched off. Individual
errors, do you have to punish the individuals by dropping them, or get them back out on the pitch as soon as possible to get over it?
I don't think it's as simple as just dropping people and saying change the team. It's something they have to work on as a collective group on the training ground. Possibly the problem is concentration. Maybe it's the changes that Gary Johnson was forced to make during the game. Cole Stews felt unwell, had to come off with about 20 minutes to go. That meant Marvin Elliott switching to right back. Jamie McAllister has gone off near the end with an injury. That means another reorganisation. So you're messing the back 4 up. And you can see from Darius Henderson's third goal who should have been where and who was missing, and that partly explains it. It's not just a lack of concentration, it's also that you're chopping and changing, and it's difficult for lads always to be able to pick up the role they're given straight away.
On a lighter note, we've got a humdinger of a FA Cup 3rd round draw with a home tie against Cardiff in January.
Yeah, I'm never quite sure of the FA Cup. We were sat in the office yesterday full of expectation, obviously wanting one of the big guns, and I was thinking to myself, if we don't get one of the big 4, then maybe a smaller club at home so we can progress. In the end you get Cardiff, which is an extremely difficult game, a championship rival that's going really well, but I think on reflection it's going to be a cracking game for the fans. I think there's no reason why we shouldn't have a capacity house at Ashton Gate that day with a great atmosphere. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a cracking game. It's an early opportunity for City to avenge what was a fairly horrible 3-0 defeat at Cardiff City's new stadium back in August. And I think the players will be up for it. I know the fans certainly will.
And the City had a good spell at that time last year. They perhaps look to build on it again.
Yeah, we seem to always have a desperate November. I can't remember since having won a game in November since they went up to the Championship. It always seems to be an awful month, and everyone gets a panic up and doom and gloom. We're going to end up in the bottom 3, and I don't think any of those things happen. I think Gary and Keith Millen will get them on the training ground. They'll steady the ship. Hopefully we can get a result sooner rather than later. Ipswich Saturday, 3 points at home would just, I think, put things right. And traditionally, yeah, the boys do seem to come good around Christmas time and put a run together. And I think if they're really going to stay in contact with the playoff places, they need to do that sooner rather than later, because you can't really afford to be adrift.
Ipswich have just got another win under their belts, so that would be an interesting encounter.
Yeah, I think the feeling is that they're improving. Roy Keane's between a rock and a hard place. I think he's under a lot of pressure. Basically admits himself that he's got 5-6 games between now and Christmas to save his job. I just think they've got too many good players to be where they are, and they're one of those sides that you think should really be higher up the table. That said, we've seen Norwich go, we've seen Southampton go in recent seasons, Leeds, Charlton. It does happen. But I think a couple of wins and Ipswich should be climbing up the table. They haven't always travelled well, but I'm not sure that's the case this season. I think Saturday's going to be a tough game. It'll be very interesting to see the side that Gary Johnson picks for that particular game.
Great. Well, we look forward to reading your report. Thanks very much.